have Dr. Suman Sovni, the IQAC coordinator also, sir, with us.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, rather. Close to okay. Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning to all of the students, and a hearty welcome to Dr. Shri GVL Narasimha Rao for consenting and giving his time. As we know that the session begins from 14th, sir would be busy, but still he has consented and brought. He would be talking on the most important thing which is going on. It is 36 years after which this big reform has taken place on education. So it took 36 years and for which to bring this higher education reform. So firstly, we would like to thank you, sir. And the whole system of our education is going to change the way we look at and the way we perceive it. Most of my students ask me that, sir, why we are a department of finance and why education? So I take a quote from Benjamin Franklin, who said that knowledge is the best place for investment as it gives interest. So students, knowledge is what you have to aspire for, and knowledge is something which we always say that it is required at you can become anything, but knowledge, if you don't have, then what you will be. So thank you, sir. Before I hand it over to the formal things, we would like to showcase our college, a small video that we have made, sir. I hope that you like it and you'll appreciate that what work that our college does. So I hand over to our media team, Rashi. If you can please take forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
so Vaibhav sir, can you please start the live?
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you, Rashi, for this.
Thank you.
I now would like to call upon our principal, Dr. Bhushan, to please give the brief reference of Shri GVL Narasimha Rao.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you and welcome you to our KES Shroff College campus. On behalf of Kandivali Education Society, that is our management, and on behalf of the entire teaching and non-teaching staff, it gives me immense pleasure to have you amongst us today. And all the more so that you are going to speak on a very relevant topic to us, that is the new education policy. In fact, I was rather surprised when Dr. Vaibhav Asher told me that Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao will be speaking on the NEP. Because I took him as a politician basically, and I thought he may talk on some other issue, but I was extremely happy to know that he's going to be speaking on NEP. And more so, let me tell you, dear students and my friends, teacher colleagues, that when I went through his biodata, I was so happy and impressed that though he may sound to be a politician, but he is more of a development economist, sir. I am also from economics field, and I was mighty impressed by the contribution and your interest in the subject. And you all will be highly impressed as I go through his biodata. Shri GVL Narasimha Rao ji is a BSc Agriculture, educated at Agricultural College, Baptala, and he is a postgraduate diploma in rural management from Institute of Rural Management at Anand in Gujarat. Also, he is very well known in national media. Students, if you see him, you will definitely recognize him. He's often visible on the TV, and he has been very famous in political circles as a leading cephalogist, political analyst, and columnist. He has authored popular weekly political column called The Bottom Line for the Mint newspaper since its inception for many years before joining BJP. He has over 3 decades of professional experience spanning political and public policy, media governance, and development fields. Coming to his political experience, he has been elected as Member of Parliament for Rajya Sabha from Uttar Pradesh since March 2018. June 2018, he was nominated as Member Department related with Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defence. September 2019, he was nominated as Department related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance, and June 2018 he was nominated as member Joint Parliamentary Committee of Security and is still continuing. He has been an active member of Rajya Sabha, speaking on important debates on union budget, motion of thanks to the President of India, and he has talked on subjects concerning agriculture, farmers and development issues, particularly concerning home state of Andhra Pradesh. He has been a national spokesperson for BJP since 2014 and has been a media advisor to the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister from 2009 till 2018 February. Coming to his experiences in public policy and governance and development sectors, Mr. Rao is India's widely respected program evaluation expert, having done more than 500 evaluation and impact assessment studies in social and economic sectors. Mr. Rao is a distinguished researcher and consulting professional. His work on public finance, agriculture, and food supply management, poverty alleviation and livelihoods, rural development, education and skill development, health, water and sanitation, housing, energy and transport sectors has been immensely appreciated in the international circles, and he has worked with organizations like the DFID, BBC, the World Bank, UNICEF, UNESCO, WFP, and ILO, etc. He has championed reforms in the voting processes which led to the introduction of what we nowadays see in election, VVPAT in our electronic voting machines, the commonly known as EVMs. What an impressive personality we have today amongst us. Welcome, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao here. A big round of applause for him, sir. I must say, sir, you are a national integration personified, born in Andhra Pradesh, has worked in Madhya
Gujarat.
Pradesh, studied in Gujarat, and is MP from UP. So you are a true national integration personified person, sir. I thank you once again. And once things improve, we would like to call you offline to our campus, sir, and meet our management and have a sakshatkar, I would say. Thank you so much and welcome once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction and the inspiring words. Now, so the floor is yours. Without any delay, we welcome GVL sir once again. And sir, please.
Good morning, rather good afternoon, and
Good afternoon.
thank you to all of you for inviting me to be a part of this session. First of all, Dr. Mrs. Bhushan ma'am, I think you've given a fairly detailed introduction of my background. I have been until even now, I continue to be a professional engaged in a lot of development sectors, including education. So it's my privilege to be a guest speaker addressing august gathering of faculty, students of the KES Shroff College. As Dr. Bhushan said, I would certainly look forward to visiting your campus sometime in future. As you rightly pointed out, I think a lot of our travel is now restricted, and certainly we cannot meet in large gatherings. But certainly the COVID times have taught us how to remain in touch, how to continue doing our work in a remote way. So certainly, thank you, Dr. Bhushan. Thank you, the faculty and the students of the KES Shroff College, and the presentation that you have, the AV that you have shown about the college is really impressive. I must acknowledge I'm not really very familiar with the colleges in Mumbai or in Maharashtra, because I have not had an opportunity to spend much time there. But certainly the achievements of your college in our 3-decade existence is certainly very, very impressive. And I would like to congratulate the principal, the faculty,
Thank you, sir.
the management, and all the students of the college for such an excellent work. Coming to the topic of the day, the principal may have been surprised, but I thought this is the subject that really concerns the future of us, future of our country, the education. How we invest in our the youth of today, the children of today, their contribution to the country, their contribution, their own personality development, their own economic growth, and the nation's growth heavily depend on how we invest in our education, how we educate our people, what kind of skills that we create among our youth, because this is certainly going to be the most productive investment for any country. So therefore, my choice of the subject, I could have talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat, economic vision of our government, but I thought I've been speaking on that subject in other webinars. But today, for this audience, I thought I must speak about education and possibly also get a lot of suggestions and views from you. The government of India has invited views and suggestions from the faculty, from teachers, from various members of the academic community in implementation of this policy. As Dr. Bhushan rightly pointed out at the start, unfortunately, we have not had a national education policy since 1987. It's been since independence, we have had only on 2 occasions the policy was unveiled. First policy in the 1968, perhaps, then 1987. And in 1992, it was only modified or reviewed. The 87 policy was modified to suit the current needs. But the manner in which the country and the world has evolved, it certainly, the education system has undergone a sea change over the last few years. But our system, we have fully not been able to grapple with the changes that are happening in the world, and we have not been able to make full use of it. So the 2020 National Education Policy is a need of the hour, and it just not fine-tune the 1987 policy. I think what is very significant about the 2020 education policy, both in terms of school education and in higher education, what the policy has proposed is a complete restructuring of our present education system to tailor it to the nation's needs of today and tomorrow. So certainly, therefore, it's important for the entire student community, the academic community, to understand the nuances, to understand the new approaches, and to really adapt to this new system as quickly as possible. Because the real challenge for National Education Policy 2020 would be in ensuring that it is implemented in its fullest length, in its fullest breadth as quickly as possible. But certainly, let me take you through some of the key points as I consider them more relevant. And if possible, if there is a Q&A session, I'll try and answer some of the questions. But let's understand what is our overall institutions, what is our institutional framework as far as higher education is concerned in the country. Okay, as per the All India Higher Educational Survey 2018-19, we have 993 universities in the country. Some statistics I'd like to give you. This is important. It gives you the overall the frame of the higher education sector. There are 993 universities in our country, 39,931 colleges, and 10,725 standalone institutions, which are not affiliated to the universities, but are either standing alone as autonomous colleges. Like, I think I was very happy to know the KES Shroff College itself became autonomous a few years ago. So this is the current spread of our universities. Of these 993 universities, 298, almost 300, have affiliated colleges, while others are either standalone universities or having colleges as a part of the universities per se. Of these 993 universities in the country, only 16 are exclusive for women, 548 are general universities, and the rest, 142 technical universities, so on and so forth. I will not go into many of these details because that will take a lot of time. In terms of number of colleges, the highest number of colleges are in UP, followed by Maharashtra. Certainly Maharashtra, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, and other cities, because I know Maharashtra is a state that attracts a large number of students, not only from Maharashtra, from all over the country. There are a number of students even from faraway states like Bihar, UP, who go to Maharashtra to study, particularly in technical colleges and professional colleges, so to say. So this is the kind of canvas that we are looking at. It's important for us to see of the colleges that we have, of the 39,000 colleges that I mentioned, 35% operate only on a single program. Unlike your college, which has several PG programs, you have UG programs, 12 UG, 5 PG programs, but most of them are single course colleges. So it's certainly the current policy has been evolved in a manner that we need a huge expansion of the current educational network, because the enrollment of students in higher education in our country is very low. It's only about 26%, which means only out of 100 students who are out of the population of if you take the total population of 18 to 23 year youth in this country to be 100, only 26 of them actually enter the higher education field, which is rather low. We certainly need, as our country seeks to achieve a $5 trillion economy, as our challenges mount on every sector, as the opportunities unfold, we need certainly to have more people entering the higher education field and also completing them. And our target is to take this to 50, the gross educational enrollment, which is at 26.3%, 0.3 today. Gross enrollment ratio, as I told you, it is the number of students out of 100, how many are entering higher education sector out of 18 to 23-year-olds. So we want to increase it to 50 by the year 2035. So in a manner of 15 years, we almost want to double the number of students who are entering the higher education sector. So about 3.5 crore new students will be entering the higher education sector as per this policy. That is the kind of provisions that we have to make. That is the kind of infrastructure expansion that we have to achieve to be able to really realize the goal of National Education Policy 2035. So this is goal number one. We want almost double the number of students entering the higher education system in this country. So please imagine, if there are 40,000 colleges today and we have only 26% GER, about 3.7 crore students are in colleges, and we want that number to increase by another 3.5 crore. So just imagine the number of new institutions have to come up, the kind of expansion that the existing institutions have to make. This is humongous. And currently, the public education, the public system, the public expenditure on education in this country is about 10% of the overall expenditure. And in terms of GDP expenditure, allocations to the education sector vis-a-vis GDP is about 4.3, 4.4% of the GDP. Combined expenditure, combined outlays on education for the state and central governments together is about 4.3 or 4.4% of the GDP. And we certainly want 1968, 1987 policies, all of them, 1992 revised policy, all of them said we need to have 6% of the GDP outlay for education, but we still haven't reached there. So certainly the goal of this particular NEP is to enhance outlays for education, both at the central level and in the states. But even that increase by 1.7% cannot give resources for the higher education sector for investments in the public sector. So therefore, we need, for every KES Shroff college, we need another college of the same size. For every IIT, we need another IIT. So we need doubling of the institutions or doubling of the intake of students to achieve our primary goal of improved access to higher education. So this is challenge number one. So where will the money come from? Certainly government investments will largely go into regulation. A lot of this money, additional allocations, will go into primary education because this policy envisages huge investments in pre-primary education, in early childhood care and education, in better nutrition for children even below the ages of 6. So all that will take a lot of money. So the higher education investments have to largely come from the private sector. And what has been the investment climate in the private sector? I think this is a private-run autonomous college, KES Shroff College. I'm sure you would have had several experiences, and the experiences of other colleges may not be very different. We have so far, under the UGC Act, all the college higher education institutions are covered under most of them are covered under the UGC Act. There is also All India Council for Technical Education and other institutions, but mostly colleges like yours, they come under the UGC Act. And UGC
we are grant in aid also. We are grant in aid also.
Okay. So banned until now, profiteering, making a profit is considered a sin. It's actually banned. You cannot make a profit. But the new policy envisages a different regime. It does not preclude anyone from making, while the education will have to be largely not for profit purposes. Making a profit per se is not going to be banned. Is not going to be considered illegal, unauthorized, and this will certainly but the condition will be that whatever surpluses that we make, let's put it this way, rather than a profit, the surpluses that any institution makes have to be plowed back into the education sector. So whatever, so it becomes this, what the policy envisages is a very transparent system, where what you charge students, what students pay for their fees is very, very transparent. There are you charge according to your expenditure structure, according to the authorized fees. You just have to be transparent about it, disclose it. 100 total disclosure is what is expected. You make a surplus. When you actually make a surplus, invest that money into the public sector, into the education sector. So this is going to be a huge transformational shift in the way that we look at our educational institutions. Unfortunately, I'm sure this is the experience of all the teachers, faculty, students, and everybody. See, most of the people do not want to come into the education sector, the higher education sector today, because of lack of such transparency in their finance operations, and even those who are currently in the education sector feel severely constrained by these considerations, and therefore this leads to a lot of unworthy kind of situations, unpalatable situations. So I think the new policy will attract investments. New policy focuses on enhancing access. New policy focuses on ensuring that most people who want to have higher education will have access to it. So let me cover some very many important points as to how this policy, apart from increasing availability of opportunities for higher education, what all does this policy do? Please look at this, some of these important points. The biggest change in this policy, the most fundamental change in this policy, is the introduction of flexible curricula, creative combination of subjects, integration of vocational education. I'll explain this, and multiple entry and exit points. So currently we have very narrow, or rather straight jacket kind of course structures. So if you enter a 3-year BCom, you will have a very standard courses that you will have to study. I'm sure all of you are following that, like we have done that. Every student in the class has to, who enters a particular program, has to study the same subjects, sit in the same section all through the 3 years. And when he completes 3 years of his BCom or a BA or whatever, or a 4-year degree, when you complete that, you get a certificate. You have become, you passed out as a graduate. But the current system, the proposed system, envisions a completely restructured kind of an education curriculum system, where you will have a lot of flexibility to choose what subjects you to choose from. The details have not been spelled out in the policy because it's a policy. It's a matter of details that are being worked out. But for example, you enter a BCom program, you, apart from your core courses in commerce, economics, maybe auditing related courses, you will also be able to choose any other course of your choice. There could be a significant number of credits. So this will be primarily a credit based system. So if you have to acquire 90 credits to get a degree in your college, it will, your course content, your own college will specify, you have to take a minimum of 40 credits from the selected commerce related subjects. Okay, and the remaining 40-50 credits you can choose from any subject of your liking. There can be gen-ed courses, general education courses. You can select something in history. If politics interests you, being a BCom graduate also, you take a course in political science. If English language interests you, you can take an English language course. This is the kind of a system, this is unheard of in Indian history. So certainly, but there are many, for example, in the US, this system is followed by many universities, rather universities in countries like the US. But we have a far greater innovation than that. I'm not aware if any country has an innovation of this kind. I'll certainly find out. See, our system, there is, okay, as I said, if you have 90 credits to be acquired, Each credit you acquire will get added to a credit, a bank, digitally stored academic credits, academic bank of credit. Each student will have an five to acquired 16 credits. These 16 credits will get added to your academic bank of credits, which will be recognized by the all higher education institutions in the country. So you have the flexibility to transfer to another college, have the flexibility to exit at the end of 1 year and maybe join after a year or so. Let's say somebody has a difficulty, has a business opportunity that you have today. So you want to exit from college and re-enter at a given point of time. That is possible. In the end, you will be given a certificate. And if you complete of these 3 years, only 2 years, you will get an advanced diploma in commerce. If you are a BCom undergrad for BCom, you will get if you exit after 1 year, you will get a certificate. After 2 years, you will get a diploma, advanced diploma. And if you finish all your 3 years and your academic requirements, you will get a bachelor's degree. I think this is, to the best of my knowledge, even the US education system doesn't have this. There also, if you have to take in a particular undergrad program, you have to finish it to get a certificate. Otherwise, you get nothing. You will get only credits in your academic credit record, but no certificate. But here, we are also giving you certificates so that anybody who drops out of any contingency is not left without a certificate. So somebody who drops out in 3rd year is certainly having an advanced diploma and will not be considered on par with somebody who has only completed a +2. This is a huge reform that we have. There are, as I said, multiple entry and multiple exit options. So you can exit after 1 year, exit after 1 semester, come back and join from the next course. So this is the flexibility this new system proposes to offer. A creative combination of subjects. As I said, you can be a commerce graduate, take a course in English, take a course in political science, take a course in history, take a course in India's freedom movement. If a course like this is offered, you can choose from any of the subjects being offered. So this is a unique feature of this particular the new education policy. And institutions like the IITs, for instance, IITs, IIMs, they are mostly technical institutions. For example, IIT is purely a technical institution. IIMs are a management institution, but they will all now be they will all become multidisciplinary institutions. So in addition to, while being primarily a technology institution, they will also have a lot of courses. They will also have a lot of disciplines from other areas, so that students do not only study one particular field, they also have exposure to other fields. Increasingly, the reason for this is we believe multidisciplinary exposure is required for any kind of excellence, be it in the academic arena, in research field, or even in general life. You cannot be simply a jack of one field and not know anything about others. So this is the major reform that has been proposed. There is also, in terms of the regulatory framework, the UGC, the AICTE, they will all disappear when the new bill for Higher Education Commission of India is brought in. This is a new organization that is being set up. This will be called Higher Education Commission of India, which will be the single overarching umbrella body for all higher education, except in the fields of medicine and legal education, because they have their own regulatory agencies. But for this, National Medical Commission will be there for medical, and similarly for a legal education. But for these, all other fields, be it general education, be it engineering, technology, management, pharmacy, all these fields will be covered under Higher Education Commission of India, which will have 4 verticals looking after different aspects of the higher education sector. There will be a National Higher Education Regulatory Council, which will be the overarching body for all the regulatory purposes. And there will also be an accreditation council for accreditation purposes. There will be an higher education grants council for funding. So all the grants for the colleges and universities will come from this higher education grants council, which will be a part of the Higher Education Commission of India. And there will be also, and the NHERC will also be setting the governance norms for regulation, accreditation, and for academic standards. And all the institutions, higher educational institutions in the country, will be broadly grouped into 3 categories. I think this is something that will also be relevant to the colleges in Mumbai or anywhere in the country. The 3 categories of higher educational institutions which will function under the Higher Education Commission. There will be one category called research intensive universities. There will be teaching intensive universities, and there will be autonomous degree granting colleges, as the KES Shroff College has achieved that distinction already. And the purpose now is to ensure that in a period of 15 years, all those colleges which are currently affiliated to universities, the target is to ensure that they become autonomous. So there will be a hand-holding support. There will be a process of there will be a capacity building. There will be a monitoring of these colleges to ensure that colleges which are affiliated to the universities today, over a period of next 15 years, by 2035, they become either autonomous colleges, or they will then become, some of them which cannot become of autonomous colleges, which do not achieve that, they have to remain constituent colleges of a university. The idea is to ensure that there are some examples where some particular universities have as many as 1,000 colleges affiliated to universities, which will certainly impact the quality of education being offered, which will impact the monitoring and the regulation of those colleges. So certainly the present policy has decided that no university will have more than 300 colleges, and therefore many of them have to achieve the autonomous status over a period of few years. So as these are broadly, and then there is also a strong push towards encouraging open and distance learning. We have currently in the country, there is one central open university, the IGNO. There are 14 state open universities for distance education. There is one state private open university, and there are 110 dual mode universities which operate both regular colleges which offer regular education as well as distance education. So this is the current open education and distance education scenario, and this will be given a strong push in the years to come. And there is a massive push being given to online education and digital education. I want all the students to please pay attention to this, because this is going to be this is a game changer. And Swayam platform, which is an online platform created by the government of India. This Swayam platform is giving a huge push to online education. It already has more than 1 crore people registered on this particular platform. 1.25 crore people, students, are registered online courses for digital education on Swayam platform. Please remember this. There are several open source courses being offered. This particular platform has courses which run into a few weeks, during which you will be required to do a lot of activities. There are, for example, I'll tell you, you are commerce students. IIM Bangalore is also a part of this Swayam platform. IIM Bangalore in the last few weeks or months has offered courses completely free of cost. IIM Bangalore, a very prestigious management school, offering online education for free, courses for free. For example, retail management, they have offered a course in retail management, which is a 6-week course. Anyone who is a graduate can enroll. You have to, there will be 6 weeks of attendance, there will be assignments given, and at the end of it, there will be an examination held, which if you clear that examination with minimum 40% marks, you will be given a certificate by both the council, by the SWAYAM platform and the IIMB. So you get and for writing an exam, there is a small fee you will have to pay for your exam and for your evaluation of your paper. But you can take the course completely free. And they have also offered courses in advanced corporate strategy, women startup program. So and then IIT, for example, IIT Madras is a part of this program. They are offering courses for free. I think anywhere else in the world, institutions of this standing will charge something like 5-6 lakh rupees. I'm talking about international minimum 6 lakhs. And here you're getting this education for free. And more than 1,000 interactive, more than 1,000 lecturers, specially chosen faculty are uploading all their content, their lessons on this SWAYAM platform. Please, I would encourage every student to really look at this platform and see how you can also benefit while you continue to be students at your college, while this regular education is very important. And you can also supplement your qualifications by looking at some online program. So there is a massive push for there are many other aspects of this program. But I thought I might some noise. While institutions will be allowed to charge fees in accordance with their cost structure, also in accordance with their accreditation rating, shapes or given education free of cost without charging any tuition fee. And there will also be a large number of scholarships that will be offered to nearly 30% of the students, to ensure that people who do not have the means also can benefit from higher education. So I think this is a policy that has the potential to transform our higher education system. This is a policy that can enhance, improve access, improve quality, and also help India to become the education hub now for the world. Because you see, let me give you some numbers. We have international students coming to India. We have some of the best colleges in the world, but our rankings in terms of overall world rankings, the QS rankings came recently. Only a few of our IITs or top colleges, they qualified to be among the top of the educational institutions in the world. So we certainly have a long way to go in terms of focusing on our quality of education. We certainly have to go a long way in terms of even ensuring greater access to higher education. We certainly have a long way to go in ensuring that we not only excel in teaching, but we can also provide the best research, because eventually the best teachers are those who actually have research experience. So every institution will have to invest in research, in some kind of innovation, and these are the priorities of the new education policy 2020. As I said, the challenges are many. The intent is extremely positive, optimistic. The efforts are in the right direction, and the university, the college managements, the educationists, the teachers, all of them must come forward to actively participate in the implementation of this national education policy, because this will help India to really achieve not only India to achieve the economic goals that it has set for itself, but this will also help in the human development of our own youth, which is the greatest strength that India has. With these broad comments, I would like to thank the college, the principal, the students, and all of you for patiently hearing my presentation. And I'll be happy to take questions if that's a part of your if Q&A is a part of your structured
Yes,
program.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for.
Vaibhav, I would just like
Yeah,
to say a
please.
few
Yeah,
words to
please.
sir. Yeah, so wonderful expression and wonderful explanation of the new education policy, and very well said that the new education policy offers a lot of challenges. And so we believe that the era of mediocrity has gone, and now it will be perform or perish or survival of the fittest, sir. Thank you once again, sir, for enlightening us on this topic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you from all of us at KES Shroff College for the talk that you have given, sir. It is an eye opener for, well, I don't know about the students, but for the teachers. They will need to get themselves ready. As Madam has rightly said, that it is survival of the fittest. So, so I open the floor to our delegates. So we can take few questions. Those students or delegates who would wish to question, please uh, raise your hand so that we can unmute you and then you can speak. Yes, Preet, you can unmute yourself. Preet.
Yes. Very good afternoon, sir. My name is Preet Sondagar, and my question is, sir, how will the new education policy 2020 help the disabled community or the socially unprivileged classes?
Okay, I'll take all questions and then answer them together.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So can I have Karna who had raised his hand? Yeah, Dhairya, you have raised your hand. Dhairya, please go ahead. Unmute yourself, Dhairya.
My question is, can commerce student can opt any other field, that is arts, economics, and what will be their high scoring in that field?
Thank you. Can I have few more questions? Can we take these two questions and then see? Yeah, Chahit is there.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
You're a bit. Yeah, please
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead, Chahit.
Hi, sir. My name is Sai Desai, and I would like to ask a question where how come, I mean, there was a mention of Parag in NEP, National Education Policy 2020.
Chahit, can you be a bit louder? There's, I think, a volume issue.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have muted.
You have muted yourself, Chahit.
Now, is it audible now?
Yeah, but be loud.
So there was a mention of Parag in National Education Policy 2020. So if you can, could you please tell us the benefits and what kind of education system it would have because of that Parag?
Parag?
Yeah, there was a mention of PARAKH in Parag.
Parag.
In Parag in National Education
Parag.
Policy 2020.
Okay.
But I have one more question. Can I ask?
Go ahead, Chahit.
I just want this National Education Policy 2020.
Answers for this
sure.
question.
Okay, I think the four questions. Let me take the second question first. Can commerce students go to arts and subjects? I made that very clear. Study. I don't know if the question was whether the commerce students can study art subjects. Yes, that is certainly going to be possible. It is the flexible education is what has been promised, or what has been what is the real soul of this higher education policy. So as I said, students studying commerce can study any subject as a part of that. There will be a course content which will relate to your field of study, and there will be many other subjects that you can choose from choose based on your interest. For example, you are a commerce student, and if you are interested in studying a subject in botany, I think that will be possible. That should be possible. It is possible in you go to universities in the US, you will see such very strange comments. So Gen Ed courses, you can choose, pick and choose whatever you like. Okay, you can choose certain even if you like arts and if there is a particular subject being offered, take that. Music, if that is a part of your Gen Ed subjects, you can take that. So there will be a lot of flexibility. And in fact, there will be flexibility also from changing programs. So you entered a commerce a degree, a 3-year degree. At the end of first semester, you realize that no, you would rather study something else. I think that is also going to be possible, subject to availability, subject to certain rules and conditions. So if you have done only, say, 15 credits in the first semester, and that can get counted under maybe Gen Ed courses, and you can take, you can switch to another program. So this is going to be very flexible. So you sometimes what happens, you enter a program thinking that it will be interesting, and then you realize that this is not something to your liking. So this flexible education system will allow you to make such changes. And as regards the question on disabled students, the first student, this policy is very sensitive to students, Divyangs, students with disabilities. There are both all the institutions, both at the school level and also in colleges. I think specific norms have been provided for ensuring the infrastructure and facilities are friendly towards the needs of differently abled students. Let's not call them disabled. It's differently abled students. So there is certainly, this policy talks about their special requirements, and both in school education and higher education, there are specific provisions made. If you want, I can read out those, but generally sensitive toward the needs of the differently abled children, including those who are visually impaired. So certainly visually challenged or visually impaired. So this policy is certainly sensitive, and I will say certainly under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government, the Divyangs and their needs have been at the center of every policy of the government, not only in the education sector. And certainly their needs are being increasingly recognized. Unfortunately, that has not been the case earlier, but there is greater sensitivity both among the public and among the policy makers to the needs of the differently abled children. And as regards Parak, Parak is mainly for the school education system. So basically, Parak is a performance assessment, review, and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. You see, we have all studied. I don't think the schools that you went to have taught you different from the way we have been taught maybe 40 years ago. Its systems have not changed. Our rote learning has been the focus of our learning activity, and content, learning more and more subject was the focus and not understanding of a subject. So certainly in the new policy, the focus is on understanding of concepts rather than remembering, rather than focusing on rote learning. 1, 2, looking at not just your academic learning, also looking at scholastic aspects, looking at your overall personality development. So that has also been considered a part of it. Therefore, the Parak is a concept which encapsulates your academic as non-academic learnings as a part of the overall assessment or overall evaluation of school children. That's mainly from the perspective of school education. And there was a question about how can we compete with countries like US or China. It's certainly a very long way to go. We certainly have to, we have not, we as of now, it's really challenging, number one, because we can be very romanticize our potential, but the reality, we need huge investment in the education sector, and governments are constrained. But government's priority will be to spend more and more on school education. mainly on you see the programs like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Right to Education Act that was passed a few years ago, that has increased access to education, primary education, but still quality of school education is a huge problem in this country. We still don't have students pass, they come to class standards. For the local students, for the belonging to the same state where you live, where your parents live, and another fee structure for students in the state or in the country. But even the fee that the local students pay is very, very high. So for a commerce undergrad degree, which will be a 4-year degree, you will have to pay a tuition fee of minimum $25,000 if you are from a particular state. And which is going to be, and here we have our education costs in public colleges in Delhi University or JNU, that we offer highly affordable, very, very inexpensive higher education in government colleges and government universities, and therefore it is not possible for government to really expand that on a large scale. I hope I have understood. So if only if the private sector becomes rather very, it has to be both quality oriented and it also has to offer high quality education. Only then we can really hope to compete at an international level. But to be very honest, it will take quite some time. Our priority should be to bring some of our best colleges and universities into the world rankings, and that will improve the overall perception about India's education and will possibly even invite students from abroad to come and study here.
Thank you so much, sir. Students.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Just one
Please.
question. Do we look forward to financial autonomy? Like at the moment, we have only academic autonomy. But are we going to get financial autonomy too in the new education policy, sir?
I absolutely, I think a lot of autonomy, but at the same time that will come with a that will require
accountability
huge,
and transparency.
Public disclosure problem. Yes, autonomy along with accountability and transparency. Very well said. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So you'll be happy to know that even we are going for QS iGauge ranking.
Very good, very good, very good. I think we'll have to have more and more universities and institutions competing for it. You see, the policy provides you the right framework for you to really compete. And you see, once you are able to establish your own name, invest in your higher educational teaching resources, you can also charge students more, but at the same time, as I said, 25% or 20% students may have to be given free education. And there will be a lot of, another point is seeking huge funding or huge contributions from philanthropists. That will be a key element of the proposed policy or the present policy, because there are many maybe industrial, any wealthy individuals who go to the colleges, to the institutions, and there will be an effort, a conscious effort to mobilize funds through from philanthropists and maybe CSR funding. So we'll have to get a large number of sources for the colleges and institutions to expand.
Thank you, sir. Very well said, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Students, due to paucity of time, we'll have to cut short. I now call upon Student Secretary Vatsal Shah to propose the vote of thanks. Vatsal, over to you.
Okay.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Vatsal Shah, student secretary of Department of Finance. So it was a very great uh, honor to firstly thank Shri GVL Rao ji uh, from his precious time from his busy schedule on joining on the occasion. We have learned all about the new education policy. I also take the responsibility to thank Shri Piyush Desai for helping us to bring such a great speaker. I would also thank our college management for permitting us to conduct this webinar. It will not be without the encouragement of our principal ma'am, Dr. Lily Bhushan ma'am, who always inspires us to achieve new and bigger goals, and not to forget our vice principal, Dr. Vian sir, for all the support given to us. I would also extend my gratitude towards Dr. Vaibhav Ashar sir, our coordinator, and the teachers of our department for helping us to take this for helping us to organize this grand event. Lastly, I would like to thank each and everyone for being present and attentive throughout this section. This event would not be possible without you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, students. Thank you,
Once
sir.
again, thank
Once
you,
again.
Mr.
Thank you
Rao,
so
for
much.
being with
Please,
us.
I have a
Okay,
Thank you,
question.
Rao sir.
Please, please.
Thank you. Just thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.